Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fire Force Chapter 227. When we last left our heroes, we continued this flashback with Benimaru and Hibachi, as we see just the weight that Hibachi carries with every Infernal that he kills. We saw them kill another Infernal named Sako, whose son desperately begged them not to kill her. When they did anyway, the son then stabbed Hibachi, seemingly being what kills him in the end. Also, we kind of saw Benimaru start and then resolve his arc that we see in Asakusa, so we'll see if this hopefully last chapter of this flashback resolves that issue. I don't know. Anyway, let's jump right on into Chapter 227, Regret. Our picture here is like a masked man. I've got your back, just leave it to me. Oh, that's Kareem. Okay, that was I didn't quite recognize him with the mask and all. Anyway, we open back in flashback land. Hibachi's been stabbed and he's like fallen to the ground. A boy, the son of a departed infernal, has thrust his dagger into Hibachi's back, his reward for the sins he carried. And the boy looks at Hibachi like tearing up, and Hibachi just glares up at the kid. I haven't done anything wrong. I've just done what you did. And Hibachi responds, yep, just like you said, you kill, you get killed. All of the grown-ups look up to you, but I don't get why. What gives you the right to take people's lives? You and me both, kid. I don't get it either. Ain't nothing honest about leading the Asakusa Hikashi. Just means you're an officially licensed idiot. We see a shot of Benimaru, like, carrying a matoi, as he says that. And Hibachi then falls. That might be him dying. A woman sees the boy standing over Hibachi. The kid is grabbed by these two men. And we hear, Seiya, Soya, Seiya, Soya. And then, I guess this is sometime later, as a woman comes up to Benimaru, seemingly he's already head of the Hikashi. Beni-chan, my husband! Just giving Taichi one last farewell. I'll join the others to see him off. Gotta give it my all. And he shoots his matoi, into the air, gets rid of a bunch of buildings, as we see at the start of, his initial appearance. The citizens all cheer, woo, hurrah, Benimaru! Taichi's wife cries. I think Taichi was her name, right? His name, right? Taichi's wife cries, this one's for Taichi. I want to hear y'all shout. Put your backs into it. Woo! And then Hina and Hika's dad, turns to Conro. The Hikashi are pretty wild in Ruwaka's lead. I guess you could call this a proto-nationalist ceremony of sorts. So when Hibachi led the attack on Sako, this whole the Asakusa blow up the town to kill the Infernal wasn't really a thing under him, but here it clearly is. It's Benny's way of seeing someone off. Only Waka could pull this kind of thing off. I don't really get why he doesn't want to become a captain. No kidding. I think it's because he never really received recognition from the master. So here I think we're kind of trying to tie this in with where we meet Benimaru at the beginning of the series. It's kind of how I'm picturing this flashback right here. And we see, the two of them look at Benimaru, and Conroe smiles. So we're just gonna have to nominate him ourselves. Let's hear those voices, boys. Yeah! All the rank and file Hikashi all cheer. With that, we're back in the present. As Benimaru stares down Hibachi's doppelganger, in front of the seventh pillar, and Conroe looks up. Benny, show him. Show him you've been carrying Asakusa ever since that day. And all that's left to bear is for you to bear the true Nichirin. And Benimaru stares at Hibachi. Hibachi, starts out with his arms crossed. I don't know if I've made this comparison before, but he's very Chernobog. Very Night on Bald Mountain right there. With the arms crossed, straight back. And then all of a sudden he leans forward, arm swung back. And knees Benimaru. Benimaru grabs the knee in his palms. And Hibachi sends him flying. How long are you gonna keep moping over my death, boy? And Benimaru catches himself. You're the one who went and dropped dead, you bastard. E.I. Chop. We see Hibachi also get ready for the chop. First form, Kagetsu, Fire Moon, and both their Fire Moons clash with each other. There's these like shock waves of energy that get sent flying across from them. And they both kind of are like blown back a little bit in the wind that's formed. Form 3. Benimaru's ready for a Form 3. Hibachi gets ready for a Form 5. We see Benimaru's Daybreak come against Hibachi's Sunset. I feel like there's a metaphor in Daybreak versus Sunset there. But the two clash, and we see there's this pillar of energy that like cuts through the clouds above them. There's like sheer force there. Benimaru sent flying towards the sea. Hibachi sent flying up as this kind of like diagonal thing, which is much, but I was about to say it's much better for Hibachi because he's not going towards the sea. But Benimaru catches himself in the last minute. He rights himself on his Matoi, and he yells up at Hibachi. I'm a hell of a lot stronger than the day you died, aren't I? Come on, you old son of a bitch. There's Adolla running a retirement home. Fucking roast him, Benny. The only thing that's grown up is your mouth, you little shit. And Conro, Hibana, Kareem, and Hoyan just like watch from the shore. And Hibana just like kinda stares silently. And Kareem asks, what's this fight gonna turn into? Did the waves always look like that? And the waves kind of had this like traditional like Japanese art effect going on with them, which is very fitting for the proto-nationalists. The power of their flames, this is Hibanu, who had a sudden realization, is drawing Adolla even closer. The waves in Adolla must be having an effect on ours. Oh, that's an interesting thing though, because as we've kind of been touching on ever since the time skip, the doppelgangers are kind of our perceptions of other people, or people's perceptions of an individual, right? And so Adolla is very much tied in with perceptions. And the waves here, as I said, are kind of drawn in this traditional Japanese artwork style. And who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? The strict Japanese nationalists. They're the ones drawing Adolla. The Japanese artistic vision of the wave is what's being affected. There's so much interesting shit going on with Adolla. God. Alright. Anyway. And Conroe, so she's talking about the waves in Adolla must be having an effect on ours. And Conroe thinks for a moment, it's the same with the Master. He was always strong, but not even he can match up to the Waka of today. And Conroe thinks, it's the Master the people of Asakusa saw him as. The Master may have met a bitter end, but even so, he was the focus of so much fear and respect. So yeah, here we're seeing that because everyone saw Hibachi as this Grand Master, this unstoppable force, before he was like backstabbed by the kid, his doppelganger is unstoppable, is all-powerful, which is not good. But Conroe calls out, Waka, there's something you still haven't tried. And Benny looks down for a moment before he has this really large grin, and he calls out to Hibachi, it took you a lot of effort to crawl your ass back to our world, didn't it, old man? Hibachi just like glares down at him. There's something I want to show you. This time, I'm gonna put you down. The things he wanted to say, the things he wanted to show him. It's time to show him the evidence of your resolve. To be continued, chapter 228, Gift from the Underworld. Okay, so, out of the flashback land, I'm still not entirely certain the flashback needed to be that long. As I said, it just kind of, it sets up his arc from the first Asakusa arc, kind of resolves it, but then can't actually fully resolve it because it doesn't get resolved until Asakusa. So it's just a really weird thing. But beyond that, beyond the weirdness of trying to shake out Benny, the timeline of Benny's character arc, We do see Hibachi's death is very inglorious, and I like that. He just kind of dies. He's kind of stabbed in the back, and then he keels over. He gets one last bit to, explain his discomfort with the idea of himself as this big leader. As he said, he feels like he has been killing people his entire life, and he's not exactly a big fan of that part of himself, which is a nice thing. And then, we kind of see the start of Benimaru's traditional destroy the town antics. But yeah, then the fight begins, and we get, I also didn't mention it, the clouds as well on page 16, after they have their clash at the third and fifth forms, and the big, flame pillar goes up to the sky, and it parts all the clouds and all that. The clouds also kind of look like, as I mentioned with the waves, traditional Japanese artwork. At least to my understanding. I'm not going to say I'm an expert in traditional Japanese artwork, so I might be, way off base here. If I am, I'm sorry. But yeah, all that's tying into the fact that, perception is perception and reputation, and that's so important to Adolla. And I don't know how exactly. I don't think anyone knows how yet, besides Okubo, I'm hoping. But there's so much that we don't know about Adolla, and these tiny little details are really kind of carry are kind of I'm trying to find the word here, are kind of showing the mysteries of Adolla, even while this big fight between Benny and his master are going on in the background, or in the foreground. The background is all of these hints about Adolla. Which is a really cool thing. Adolla is just such a cool world idea. And then, yeah, there's still something he hasn't tried, which I guess he hasn't done. The Akatsuki was his move, right? It wasn't Conroe's? Yeah, it was definitely his move, because it was the ending move of the Asakusa arc. So I guess he hasn't, the red moon would require it to be nighttime, which I don't think it is, question mark. I don't know. We'll kind of have to wait to see next time. So yeah, this was a really, really fun fight chapter, especially once we got out of the flashback and into the present, with a lot of interesting morsels to think about in terms of Adolla. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say for this chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter as much as I did and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!